A third aspect, which is key, is a single ballot, having a single ballot. In Cameroon, we have as many ballots as we have candidates. So if you have 6 candidates for the presidential election, you as a voter come in and you pick up 6 ballots. You go into the voting booth and you're supposed to put the ballot that you're voting for in the envelope, come out and put it in the ballot box, and put the 5 other ballots in the trash can, which is in the voting booth. Well, remember the person, Kah Walla, Kah Walla? There's an interest in being registered 4 times because the ruling party tends to pay people to vote. Okay? So if I'm registered 4 times, I can vote 4 times, I can get paid 4 times. Now, how do they know that I voted for that? I don't throw away the 5 other ballots. I put them in my pocket. And I show up at the center where they're paying people and I say, well, I voted for you. They say, how do you know? Well, here are the 5 ballots of the other people, which proves that A, I was at the polling station, B, I voted for you, and I've put the other ballots, and here are the other ballots to prove it. So a single ballot would completely eliminate this for us, okay? And these factors are very important because in spite of the huge economic potential that I mentioned to you earlier, we've not been able to manage the country in a way for the common citizens to benefit. So 40% of Cameroonians live with $1.25 a day, okay? So the temptation to be paid for voting is extremely high, especially when people feel like, well, nothing is really gonna change anyway. You know, so I might as well get paid today because, you know, they're not going to do anything for me day after, you know, or further down the line. So these are some of the key things that are wrong with our electoral system and that we are fighting for today as Cameroonians. Within Cameroon, we are engaging with the government to be able to change these key technical factors. We are engaging with the international community that pays for a part of these elections to say, if you're going to pay for something, make sure that it is using, you know, the best technical practice. And the other thing that we are doing is the biggest factor to weigh in on this system, where the opportunity lies, is voter registration. No matter how bad this system is, we can make it work for us if we have enough people registered to vote. Why? Because you can fraud 10,000 votes. You can fraud 100,000 votes. It gets a little bit more difficult. 1 million votes is very tough. And if you're beat by 2 to 3 million votes, it's virtually impossible. So it is the number of people who are engaged in the system that will enable us to weigh in on this system in order to make it work for us as a people. Cameroon today has 9 million potential voters. Only 3.5 million of them ever engage into the electoral process. So we have 5.5 million people whom we believe are not engaging in the system because they are not happy with it, and therefore these would be people that would actually vote against the current system, and they are sufficient in number to be able to make a very huge difference. And that is why voter registration is really the key to bringing about change in Cameroon. And those are the things that we are communicating to you all as our friends in Cameroon to help us out with voter registration. I've been fortunate. I spent a week in DC. I met with several senators on the U.S. Foreign Relations Committee. I met with the people in charge at the State Department. I gave a talk at the Wilson Center because the U.S. can weigh in as a government to say, you need to respect the technical norms of an election. This is not getting into your political business. This is just saying, today, accepted norms for running an election are biometric technology, single ballot, and so on and so forth. And you need to respect that. And we need that pressure. We believe that pressure from within That is us in Cameroon, organizing, mobilizing, registering to vote, and pressure from without, the international community, asking our government, why aren't you using these technical norms, will be the element that will allow us to bring change in 2011. So I'm going to stop there and take a couple of questions from you. Go on.
Age and gender of those who are registered to vote?
The voter register does not have gender-specific, gender-segregated data. However, we can extrapolate from the general population. Women are 52% of the population, and Cameroon has a population, 50% of our population is less than 20 years old. Wow. Very, very young, very, very young population.
And what age do I have to be to vote?
20.
20?
20, yes, yes. But the 20 to 30 years old, our estimation is that they're representing about 25% of those potential voters. So very, very young population, and the people who are not voting are precisely those two groups, young people and women. Yeah.
I have two brief questions. One is, how come after we continue to support you? After you're elected, how can we continue to support our friends in Cameroon, and also will the United Nations be involved in the voting process, and they also bring pressure in addition to the United States?
I'll answer your second question first. Right now in Cameroon, the lead organization, that is the international community, tries to talk to each other and act in concertation. And the lead organization is the UNDP, the United Nations Development Program. And what we are asking for right now is that they really become much more insistent on these technical norms that we're talking about, one. And two is that they become more transparent to the rest of the population about what it is they have agreed upon with the government. Right now, that transparency is insufficient. So even when we are talking to the US government, we're actually talking to them to say, really bring your weight to bear through the UN, okay? Because they're the lead on this. They're small programs with individual countries. The US has a small program we're working on. The NGO that Marilyn mentioned, Cameroon Obuso, is working with the US Embassy right now to be able to gather and collect results parallel to the official results. Because this is very important for the civil society, for the population in general, to be certain. We had an election in 1992 that we believe the opposition won, but it was pronounced for the government in power. But we don't know that with certainty because we did not have full statistics all over the country that would enable us to say the opposition actually won. We want to be in that position this time. So that's some of the work that we are doing. How would you be able to help after I'm elected? I like that. Is that our country is going to need a lot of technical assistance to be able to make a quantum leap. And that assistance, I believe, a large part, we have really excellent Cameroonians within Cameroon. We also have a lot of excellent Cameroonians outside of Cameroon who are working here or in France and Germany and so on. And we would have people like yourselves who professionally, okay, would be able to help us. We need to reform our systems, whether it's the health system or the educational system, the ability, I firmly believe, and it's not a plug for IBM, that we can use technology to make this quantum leap. We have that opportunity, but we are going to need technical assistance to look at it systematically within our government systems. Technology will also be huge. We've seen it in other African countries. One of the reasons we have hope today is that we have some amazing African countries doing amazingly well democratically. Those countries that are doing well are using e-government. E-government transparency, okay? Yesterday I was in Houston for a town hall, and Gu was giving the example of Botswana, where every ministry's budget is on the internet. You know, go look at it and see where they are, how much they've spent, and so on and so forth. You have countries like Ghana that have all the tax laws, all the customs laws, everything on the internet. So the user knows what I'm supposed to pay to whom, and so on. And so that eliminates the corruption that is there. So those kind of elements would be huge for us, whether it's health, whether it's technology, agriculture, getting that kind of technical assistance, because we have to really rethink these systems entirely and rebuild them. So.
What would you say is the single best message in your platform that would resonate with Cameroonians?
I think I always have a hard time with the single. People ask me that all the time, and there's so many things wrong with the country that it's very difficult to make it a single best message. But we do have a few key ones that I'll talk to you about in a minute. So if I can just hold your question for the second, I'll do that.
How long will it take to get the new systems in play, and is it feasible for this upcoming election?
Excellent question. Yes, it is, if we act now. We know, because Senegal has done it, that it's possible to put in place a biometric system and register 10 million voters in about 5 months. So it is still possible at this stage, but we have to seriously increase the pressure on the government so that we get action by first quarter of next year. One of the favorite tactics of the Cameroonian government is to delay. They just keep yeah, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, and then, oh, we can't do it anymore, it's too late. We really wanted to, but it's, we can't. So being aware of that, we as an opposition and as a people are really, the first quarter of next year is gonna be crucial for us. We're starting off the new year. One of our targets is to have the major personalities in the country. We have a cardinal of the Catholic Church. We have, we have soccer players. Cameroon is a huge soccer country. We have fabulous artists. I told you guys, it's the most beautiful country in the world. Okay, we have extraordinary jazz artists who are playing all over the world. And we would like some of these people to stand up, not to say vote for X, Y, Z, but to stand up and say we need a good electoral system. And that's our target for January, that we get a New Year's message out that says we need really good elections in 2011, increasing the pressure on the government so that we get some action.
And when are the elections?
I forgot that element about our electoral system, is that we don't have a clear electoral calendar. So I've declared my candidacy, but I don't know exactly when the elections will be. There's a legal window, so it should be between mid-September and mid-October of next year. But the president gets to call the elections. He can wait up to 30 days before. He doesn't have to do it till 30 days before. So I will maybe not know till 30 days before when the exact date of the election is. But we're running the campaign fully, engaging fully within this time frame.
We're at halftime right now, so I just want to interrupt because she's going to take more questions. Would you please introduce Ngu, Wazoo, Gail, Stefano,
Yes.
who are our guest also from Houston, Texas. They actually drove her